Hi guys.
Everybody.
Welcome to Leia and Shaw's. I still don't
We don't
know what
even
it
know.
is. But
For better, for worse, right?
yes,
Or-
for better or for worse. So today we're gonna be talking about our relationships and self-body shaming. And before that, we wanted to thank everyone. This is our 10th video. And also people that have followed us, our page. Thank you very much. In a short period, we've gotten to 90 people. And hopefully you tell your friends and they come on board and we can share our experiences with everyone. I'm actually on vacation this week, so I'm excited. We don't have the little one. She's at my aunt's house. We have a free week to get things set up and
Sleep.
done.
Plenty of sleep.
Plenty of sleep. And get the house ready for school next week. So let's get to it.
So we're gonna be talking about relationships and self-body shaming. You know, we found that body shaming has a definition of humiliating, the action or practice of humiliating others based on their shape or size, anything like that. But what we were finding is that there's a lot of self-body shaming going on, and that's when someone's looking at themselves for all these same flaws and criticizing themselves for these so-called faults. So we had put out a question yesterday, and we were getting comments all the way from last night all the way till today of especially for women, how they don't see themselves as attractive or sexy, or doesn't see how other people find them attractive or sexy. And it really got us to thinking, like, this has to start from somewhere, that this occurs where a person doesn't feel as confident or doesn't feel as attractive as they are, or as others already see them. They just can't see it for some reason. They have little comments or things that they say about themselves, like I'm too skinny, things like that, or stuff you've heard.
I've heard I'm thin, and me, I have been pretty slim my whole life. I have not weighed over 115 pounds, and that's even including when I was pregnant with Anaya. So I heard you're really thin, or oh, you're really skinny, why don't you eat? Oh, all you need to do is eat this and that and you'll gain weight. And
wait until you're 30.
Or wait until you're 30. And I'm past that age and still here I am. So there are also just other nicknames, in different languages. Flaca, flaco, maga, gorda, gordo. There's different things that people say to each other just based on physical, appearance. And that's really where this came up, because I'm just like, I look at myself in the mirror and I see this thin frame all the time. And I'm like, what do you see in me? And I ask him all the time, what do you see? All I see is
Can you
this.
see this?
All I see is, and he hates this, so I see this like child body. And it's so bad that it's gotten to that point in my mind that that's what I see. Like, I don't see what he sees, and
I see a beautiful, strong woman. Somebody that's magnificent. I mean, I could talk about her pretty much all night, but we don't have that kind of time. But to get back to what we're talking about here, it's, remember those previous perceptions that people have of you, and you kind of grow up and live up to them. When people start giving you a nickname when you're younger, you kind of start living up to it, and before you don't even realize that you've lived up to it, and kind of don't like what you see. We've been given titles or names or different things. Like, for example, when we got to really talking, you told me about your yearbook.
Yeah, so in my yearbook, we had a section called Dreams versus Reality. and it was supposed to be like a joke, you know. In one column, it was what we wanted to be when we finished college or when we grew up, or as per our careers. And at one point, I wanted to be a graphic designer. And then the reality portion of it was supposed to be the joke of what you would do. And they put for me that I would be a model for children's clothing, you know, just as my career. And ha ha ha, it's funny, but that's when I was 18, and then I became 21, and then 25, and then 30, and I'm like, I haven't really changed. Some think it's a blessing, you know, but when you're living it, and it's like, yeah, it's also a curse because I can't get to where I think I would be beautiful.
She's beautiful.
So it's really hard.
I mean, we all grew up, you know, pretty much in New York City, and you know, I used to always get, you know, told, you know, I'm really skinny. I've always been thin, you know, I've always had a fast metabolism and everything else. I think the worst thing is, you know, as you grow up and you meet different people, even girls, you know, I would, you know, talk to or anything like that, when they give you the wrist test, when they do that and they want to see how skinny you are or anything like that. Like I went through that, you know, and it was just like, wow, like I got like no meat on me, like I'm all bones, and I eat all the time, but I can't gain any weight. Eat. But you know, it starts to feel like, man, like, am I gonna be like this forever? And so be it. Do I embrace it, or is this something I really want to change? And then you bring it into a relationship, and you kind of don't see, like, you know, what are you doing with me? You know, what I understand personality and charisma and game and everything that flows, but when you really break it down, it's like, well, what do you see in me? You know what I mean? For me, it was always, I have these big lips, and I have these big antenna ears and everything, like Martin and Urkel and all that other good stuff. But, you know, I always felt like I had something to improve on, you know? I used to always, if I was dating anybody, I would say, you know, you have to have all your teeth, because I don't have all of mine. You know, I had got an extraction at that time, so, you know, that's a deal breaker for me. You got to have all your teeth in your mouth. But, you know, luckily she has all hers, so we're good to go. You know, but for me, it was like, you know, it was something I was deflecting. I was putting, you know, on someone else, rather than just embracing, hey, it is what it is. I mean, we really want to, I really brought this up because we got a little girl. You know, we have a small child, and she's growing up in a world where, you know, she's going to have these different types of, you know, influences and these perceptions, you know, toward her. And I want her to be strong. I want her to be proud. I want her to feel and know that she is beautiful, and she can embrace, you know, who she is, and she moves forward in life. But when we started seeing all these comments on this topic, it was like, wow, there are so many people, you know, going through these things, and it's affecting their relationships. It's affecting how they, you know, interact with other people. It's affecting with what they feel is what they're, not that they're attracted to, but what's attracted to them. And they don't necessarily, you know, like it, or don't feel it's fulfilling enough, you know, for, you know, what they want to be satisfied with in life. And it's a bit disheartening, you know, it hurts, because you know these people, you know, you vibe with these people, you talk with these people, you're like, yo, you have a beautiful personality, everything, you're gorgeous, and some of them, they just don't see it. Or the people that are attracted to them are only attracted to certain things, and everything else, they're like, hey, I'm not here for all of that. And what is a person left to feel like, you know, to do in that case, you know? I mean, how you see yourself is important in a relationship. So you get into a relationship, you're with that person, but you still constantly see like these flaws and faults, you know? So what do you do in that case when you know, not even just as the person that sees the faults themselves, but the other side, you know, your significant other, what are they to do? You know, when she says, you know, I've always been small, I've always been skinny, I feel like you know, I have this small childlike body, anything like that. Like what do you see in me? And I'm just like, how can I convince you even more than what, you know, I've already done? Doing the little things, the compliments, you know, daily. Like daily, I tell her and my daughter how beautiful they are, how amazing they are. But you know, these are just some of the things that go through your mind. So how do you go through the day with that, and making me feel better to know that I still love you. This is unscripted, by the way.
I don't even really know. Like, I do feel bad about it. You know, that, like, how it may seem to him that I'm making him feel. You know, I do believe he loves me, like, without a doubt, no question that he loves me, and I love him for everything. But still, I'm just like, well, what is it about me specifically? And then knowing our history, it's like I know all the girls he's had in the past, and I start to compare, and you really shouldn't compare yourself to the females in the past or the males in the past that he doesn't.
No worries.
But the females in the past that you've seen, and you see how they're built, and you see how they carry themselves, and you see that there were other men that were just like flaunting over them, and you're stuck like, well, I didn't get that first look. You know, I just was the cool girl in the back, you know, and it feels like I just happened to grab your attention because I was the sweet, caring one, the cool one you could hang out with and chill with. So it's been like that, and I got teased in school for always looking this way, and
you got teased from glasses.
Yes, I got teased because my glasses were big, and I wore oversized clothes, but it was the 90s, so
the baggy time.
Of course,
yeah, definitely.
you get the oversized clothes, and then it's like where, you know, what you can afford, and it's just a whole bunch of body image that I transitioned to now, and I have a problem with. So it's always a work in progress. I am trying to get over it, but it's something that's always there.
And you touched on the areas of influence, you know, external influences, bullying, teasing, physical and mental, you know, abuse, you know, occurs in some relationships, and unfortunately, it's those one time or, you know, multiple instances that occur, and then all of a sudden it becomes an accumulation. It really becomes a struggle to really keep it together itself. I do have to say, social media and its standards of beauty, you know, have had an effect, especially on this generation. I call it people living in the filter. You know, every picture just has to have a filter, and it's no problem to me. You know, the lighting a little better. You know, want to see yourself in the best light, but you know, some just are really, you know, obsessed in how the world sees them rather than how they see themselves. You know, and if that's the best, you know, way that, you know, you can show who you are, then great, and you're proud of that and happy with that. But if that, you know, runs or rules your life, then I think that, you know, could have a detriment, you know, on your relationships and your engagements, you know, with others. So, you know, just growing up, the lack of representation in television and movies and film and media, you know, even today, you know, even with Twitter and all these other platforms, you constantly see, you know, what is the standard, but then you have the other side that, you know, is completely against it, and it's just like everybody lives in their little bubble, and it's not good. You know, you need some difference. That's good, that's healthy, some discord, but at the same time, you know, you have to embrace and be, you know, loving to yourself.
Also, just really quickly, like today was a perfect example. I was online shopping, right? Because there's not many stores I can go to where I can buy clothes that fit me. So I was online shopping, and I have to literally shop um, at stores that are overseas. So Asian um, specific stores that carry smaller clothing, for women who are slim like myself. But then you run that they don't have the same body type. Yeah, they have the same frame, but there are certain areas that are different between, nationalities. So it's really hard to find clothing here that fits me. There's petite, but then it has to be like a certain number, and then those don't fit properly.
Can't
so
fit that wagon.
that I was, so I gave him like a little example of there's no really representation of people like me. There's no stores I can really go to and try out the clothing before I have to buy it and have to return it. So he got a chance to see it, and he absolutely agrees with me. But it just makes it harder to move forward and to accept the fact that you are this shape.
Yeah. I mean, I went to 5 or 6 different stores just to, locate different things that, I think would look great on her, coming into the next season. And, it was tough. I mean,
and I don't go shopping
hundreds of
for
pages.
I don't go shopping for myself, mainly because of that, and then just the hassle of
I did the shopping.
Yeah, and just the hassle of like finding something.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't gone shopping for myself in like over a year, and I had to do something. I need clothes for the season and just to refresh my wardrobe. So it was a struggle this afternoon.
I mean, those are, and you brought that up. There are also internal, influences that affect, how you present yourself to the world. It's through your clothing, it's through how you look, but it's mostly in how you feel. And having those internal influences, not handling change well, tends to be, one of the things that kind of triggers, these, thoughts, and lowering of self-esteem, the lack of loving yourself. Everyone loves themselves, but you always have people that have those things where they kind of pick at the things that truly do make them great. It's just tough. It's hard to see, especially, even for a guy, we go through it as well, but you see a lot of women really going through it. As you talked about the first look, I was the guy that didn't get the first looks. All my boys and my friends and whatnot, we call them pretty mother. Anyway, they got the first look immediately, and I struggled with that. I fought with it, like, wow, like, I'm gonna have to get the sloppy seconds, or I'm gonna have to change my game, and I did. I had to, because I wasn't getting the first look. We got the same gear, everything, just wasn't getting the look, and I never got it. So I had to rely on my talk, my game, my speech, being able to have a conversation. I made myself different, which helped a lot. Anyway, but we was just saying, really, just that need for outside validation. It's not a necessity. Some people feed off of it, but it's not a necessity. But if you have someone in your life that really sees you for who you are and takes you for who you are itself, just try to embrace that. It helps them to continue to love you, and to continue to try to convince you on why you're as amazing as you are. One of the things I like to do is I like to watch her sleep. When she's sleeping, I ain't trying to put my finger on the nose, see if she's breathing, but she sleeps beautifully to me. So I was like, wow, she looks amazing when she's sleeping. Oh my goodness.
I wake up and stare.
I'm staring. I mean, #creep life, we're married, who cares? But I enjoy it. And she's like, well, what do you see? And I'm just like, your eyes are enchanting. Like, you don't see what I see. It's difficult to do so, but to know that you have someone that loves you, and it's reciprocated both ways. But the main thing I would just say is, don't relate attractiveness to who just tries to talk to you. You know, because if you go by their standards of expectation, you're never really living up to your own. So, really, you know, don't let other people's insecurities, you know, really affect who you really are, you know, and those criticisms that you give yourself, you know, hey, there's some things you want to improve on, but when it comes to, you know, sharing your love, you have to choose the good in yourself and in others, and bring that together, you know. And this is tough. It's tough because, again, this is unscripted. Like, we put something together, but at the same time, it's like we're still going through it,
yeah.
you know. And that's why we want to really let y'all know, like, these videos that we do, this is our 10th video, like, these are real. Like, these are just conversations that we have in the house, or, you know, over the phone, or when we're walking or anything like that. But we're giving this to you guys because there are others going through, you know, much of this as well, and we're still going through it in some of these cases, and this is one of the things itself. But, you know, we choose to find the good, you know, in each other, and continuously falling in love with each other over and over again to, you know, finish out our sentence, I guess.
Our 65 years.
65 years, right? But once again, thank you everybody for tuning in. We appreciate you. Definitely, if you have any friends or anybody that you feel, you know, can benefit off of these videos, have them like our fan page or Facebook page at Leia and Sha. You put that up there, and add yourselves, invite friends, whatever the case may be. We're going to keep doing this and keep bringing up these types of topics to have these conversations. Next week will be video 11. We might do a pop-up in the middle of the week. We haven't decided yet, because I think we were going to touch on deal breakers.
Oh yeah, deal breakers.
That's fun. That's a lot of fun. All right, but have a great week. Love yourself, and speak to y'all soon.
Bye.